Hi guys, and welcome to my corner of the universe. Please excuse the state of the room today. We are in the midst of moving, also Christmas. So there's a lot of Christmas presents and packing going on. If you don't know me, I am Tony. I am founder of the World Divination Association and known as the Car Geek on social media. I am going to run through everything that you need to know about the Lenormand Grand Tableau. So any questions you have, this is the perfect opportunity to ask. And also, if you were wanting a read, I will be reading for people in the audience today. Yes, Nancy, we're moving. The internet is just too bad here. Yes, so if you are wanting a read, we're looking at 12 months reads, and if there's a direction for a read that you are looking at, we can look at those too and how to decipher the in the easiest way the Lenormand cards and how to read them in a GT. Hello from Leeds. Hi, I'm actually from Rotherham originally, so not too far from you. It says Facebook user, so I don't actually see your name. I'll have a look who's in the comments. Hi, Garth. Hi, Ashriel. Hi, Hermit. Hi, Julia, Lisa, Elise, Le Petit Lenormand Serge, the lovely Serge Perrault, Cheryl Feather. If I don't say your name right, I apologize. Luri Gayan, Marian, Yasmin, lovely to see you back, Yasmin. I've not seen you in a while. Andrea, Aikasha, hello. Nancy, of course. Gina, Milne. Let me have a look. There's a Facebook user from Canada. I don't see your name. I apologize. Sharon, Judy, Lucia, I will get started in a second. Natalie, Julia's in Ontario. Lovely. Marlies, hello, lovely to see you. It is for the best, Nancy, indeed. Heather, Heartfelt Tarot, if you would like a specific direction for your read, please put it in the comments. And I will have a look. Lucia is in Germany. Lovely. Hi. I was in Germany, obviously, not so long ago. Hi, Farah. Lovely to see your reads in the World Lenormand Association group. Ashriel has a reading too. Marian's planning to move. I'd love a love reading. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'll put the oh, Fran's in Sunderland. I lived in Sunderland for about 4 years. That was a long time ago, but I was an honorary Macam at the time. I loved my time in Sunderland. Fran and Drew, hello. Janice in Miami, it's lovely to see you. So I will put my overhead camera on, and all I'm going to do is start reading for you and running through what I would look for as some substantiation in a read, how quickly you can start reading, and my personal technique. So what the way I read Lenormand. Oh, Heather, I love business reads. Love it. Looking at the business I've started with my husband. Awesome. I actually, business reads, finance reads, etc. are my absolute favorites. Hi, Tony. Facebook user says, I'm sorry, whoever put a star and a heart, I don't see your name. Enough talking, Tony. The painting in the background, that's the cosmic llama that we have with fairy lights on. I do tend to have a lot of fairy lights everywhere, not just at Christmas. Okay, so we are looking at Heather, and we're looking at a business read for the coming 12 months for the read that she started with her husband. I'm actually going to change my camera over now. If you can't hear me for any reason, please put it in the comments. It has happened before. Okay. So the lighting is not great because I don't have my setup at the moment. So you will just have to bear with me. I'm using my Polly's Sunset Lenormand, which is my go-to deck. And obviously set my intention for Heather and a business read with her and her husband. And 12 months. So as I start reading, or as I start laying, hopefully you can still hear me. As I start laying, I am already reading. So as I'm laying, in my head, I'm saying, man in House of Rider. So that's my mental note. I probably lay slower than other people because I actually start reading the cards as I do lay. So 2 in Clover, 3 in Ship, 4 in House, 5 in Tree, 6 is Clouds, Snake, Coffin, and look at that already. So that's something I'd noticed already, that man and woman are sat facing one another on the top row of the spread. That's a very auspicious show of the cards, especially for a business read where you will be working together. So that's a real show of unity already. In Bouquet, we have Child, so new offers coming in. 10, 11, 12, 13. So we see foxes in birds and birds is over it. So that's another thing I would notice, that it's actually sat in the house of birds and birds is above it. 13, 14 in fox. Close by in the house of fox we have fish, shows me that financially there will be some difficulties, but it will be with financial contracts. 15 in bear, we've had bear out already. 16 in star, lady sits above house, which is success in all endeavors. So if you look at the original Lenormand instructions, house is success in all endeavors, and it's sat with woman above it. Woman, in this case Heather, will be very successful in this business. 17 Stork and changes, so there's going to be some unknown changes. Stork is up there, sat next to Crossroads, showing that there's going to be some important yet difficult decisions that are going to be needed in order to make change in the business. The change is at the moment unknown. 18, 19, we have Coffin in Tower. So let's see where Tower turns up. 20 garden, so success and the star and direction. With it being sat in garden, I would already note that as far as this business is concerned, community is important. So social aspects and social marketing, for example, are going to be very important in driving that direction for the business. Lilies, very nice, sitting under ring, sat in House of Mountain. 22, so we've got those difficult decisions, and remember we've got Coffin here. So, and the Tower is sat underneath fish. So these are all things that I am noting as I go along. 23, mice, that kind of doubles up the effects of mice. 24, heart is clover. 25, 26, our book house, and it's very close to the book. 27, now 28, which is the man's house, and we have the sales aspect of it. So there may be roles required for the two partners in which the man is very focused on sales orientation. Woman and reputation, she will actually be driving the reputation of the business, or it will be built around her reputation that she has already. 30, so in lilies, we have, in the house of lilies, we have snake, and it falls very close to lilies as well. And here we have sun and moon. So already I am forming a little bit of a conclusion that woman doesn't actually think she has the reputation that's needed. She doesn't have everything that's required for this business, but she will be recognized within the business for her work and within the community too. So then our line of fate has key, rider, tree, and scythe. So the anchor house, which is the most important house in the whole spread, the anchor house is where they're heading to. And we actually have tree in there, which is a degradation or an ill health of the business. So we're looking more into that in a minute. We do know that whip is sat in house of tree. So we know that a lot of the birds brings in hard work, and a lot of perhaps discord in that work, you know, who's doing what, could lead to a little bit of a reassessment of the situation. I will look to see if whatever questions we have. That's a grand tableau, yes. It's the 8x4 plus 4 Lenormand grand tableau. It's a little bit wonky because I believe it's wonky. Let's have a look. We have, what is the significator card for this business reading? Why do you need a significator, I would ask? There is no significator. All the cards tell me a business reading. If I'm looking for reputation and it going well on a reputation front, I'm looking at moon, I'm looking at ship for sale, I'm looking at anchor for trade, I'm looking at fish for finances. Ship also shows us sales coming in and shows income, financial contracts, again, like I said. So every single house, even every single card, even the house here, the house means success in all endeavors. So you interpret the cards actually using a business interpretation for every single card. You don't narrow it down to just one card showing work. Otherwise, you're narrowing your interpretation down and not showing the full picture. So as you saw, when I was laying, I actually pulled out a lot of information from that spread already. What I would then do is look for my querent, which is obviously lady. She's sat at the top. She's in total control. She's riding this baby in. She is taking the bull by the horns, sat in that position. She is sat in the house of coffin, and this may lead me to believe that she's either put something to the side in order to start this business with her husband, or she will have to drop some things in order to take on a major role in running of this business. I would then look at the partner and say, like I said before, it's an amazing auspicious position. They're both working on the same page. They're both heading into the business with gusto. And then I would look to the cards around her to see how her position is in the spread, what the cards around are telling me. And it tells me that she actually knows that this is a good thing. This is a good, solid business. It's a little bit chancy with Clover sat underneath. So she is, like I said, she's sat in coffin. She's probably let some things go to the side so that she could focus on this business. And she's taking a chance in that respect because it's something that she loves. Clover is sat in House of Heart. Heart is close to her. So it's something that she actually really loves doing. She's not sure, with the grief card sat at the bottom, she's not sure whether she has everything that she needs in order to make this perfect. but Moon is sat in her house, and that tells me, well, you might not feel like you have it all your ducks in the row, or that you are maybe the right person for the job. You may not even like selling yourself as a person. You may struggle in putting your face as a face of the business. Excuse me. But it is lower down in the spread, and the Lenormand works from top to bottom. So the heaviest influence is at the top, and it influences down. So the closest thing to her is this success. She feels in her belly that this is the right direction. This is the right business. It's sat in House of Star, is the right business for her. She has anchor set ahead of her. Anchor is your end goal. It's in the game of hope. It's the place you want to get to, and she's got it sat slap bang in front of her face. She really wants this. This business is what she wants out of life, and she's going to put everything in it that she can in order to do that. There are some struggles within that. You could possibly say that, like I say, she had to let some things go. There are things on her plate that she can't let go and still has to do. They may take a little bit of a hit in the beginning, because this is the beginning of a time scale for the 12 months. So it may take a bit of a hit for her in the first place, kind of, trying to manage that workload, which especially comes up here in the 6 months period. We have that struggle to keep up with the workload. But at the first 3 months, we see her actually really setting goals for this business. It is, like I say, something that she really loves doing. They will see a financial influx within the first 3 months. So the business is actually going to be a viable business within 3 months. She's going to get contracts in that are decent contracts with Lily in the mix. Ones that she may find, it could be customers, for example, but it could also be, if it's a business that has contracts, it can obviously be that. I would suggest with whip above the ring here, it's almost like the contract comes in and she actually doesn't know how to meet that workload. They both don't know how to meet that workload. However, it is in both their lines of sight. They're heading into it. They will handle it really healthfully, despite it being an influx of work that's super heavy for them. And so at the 3 month period is when these financial contracts hit, and it creates that, oh my God, how are we going to actually meet this workload? There's probably, when the foundations have been set up, it probably gets to the 3 month time and they're actually thinking, well, maybe we could have changed something, or we could have started off with a more solid foundation, and they're finding out the nicks and the crannies in their processes with birds and whip. So at the 3 month, 4 month mark, 6 months, 6 months mark. So at the 6 months mark, they're really hitting that period where they're thinking, oh yeah, it was great. We did this, but now we're actually going to figure out how we really do it. So the foundations, like I say, are built in the first. I got mixed up and said that was 3 months, but that's 6 months. In the first 3 months is here, and then 4, 5, 6 is the line here. So as you see, all I've done is basically moved along this line, taken into account the top 2 lines, this line beneath as well, bringing them in. And the further along you go, the more cards you bring into the interpretation. So you are substantiating everything that you say by moving along in a storytelling narrative and adding those cards in as you tell your story. Let me see if there's any questions. Always was getting a twisted lady in coffin. Yeah, true. Can you please go over the situation in a GT where the tree is far from the significator but very near to their partner card? Absolutely. Can I ask the cards what things will need to be addressed with studying? Thank you, Emmanuel. So we've hit on the first 6 months. We actually haven't even brought these cards in yet. That's just the top level information, the storyline as we see it. And as we move into the 6 months time, we absolutely have this period of hard work where it comes a little bit trickier because the workload increases here. So it gets a little bit trickier, and the hard work actually brings in, we have Fox, Star, and Ship, and Rider. And I would suggest at the 6 months time that the querents actually reassess the business, they reassess the products that they are selling and get rid of that which is not serving them. So when you do start up a business, you do tend to offer a lot of services, or you offer a lot of products. You will find out what your sales are focused on in the 6 months. And then at the 7th month period, there is a reassessment where this isn't working for us. These actual products or contracts or services are not actually working for us, and it's not the direction in which the sales, which is Ship, comes in. And with Rider in the mix, and with Star Satin Garden, we may see a change in marketing at that stage where things are removed, that especially with Coffin there, things are removed and changed there with the stock, that actually, the Pareto law is the 80-20 rule. You put your effort in to the smaller amount of services that bring in the bigger amount of money. And that's what we're seeing in this period. And energy of sun, the sun, the traditional meaning for sun is without the sun, nothing grows. And it's that energy that we put in. The sun puts energy into a situation. It's putting energy into change. So at 7, 8, where are we at here? So that's 6, 7, 8, 9 months time, we're going to see energy put into changing those products and services into selling with our offer and sales here, into selling the product that actually are making sales and putting an end to the directions or the marketing directions, even again with Star in Garden, that aren't serving the business well. And then we move into the final 3 months of the Grand Tableau, or the final 12 months, final 3 months of our read, and we have Bear heading the line next to Man. This shows that things are doing really well because Bear is our great fortune, but it brings in a side order of envy. It brings people into the situation who are maybe not helping you your best. So, and decisions made thereon. And again, with Garden in the mix and Mice, it looks like there's either certain customers or certain people within the business, whether it be consultants or other businesses that you are mixing with, where decisions will need to be made, whether they, again, are working within your best interest, because things are going great for you at the 9 to 12 month time. And then the partner features heavily at the end of the period, in which he's looking at new ways, because you can start reading from him too. He's looking at new ways with child in the mix, based on his new knowledge. So if you think about it, you've done 12 months time of this business, you've built up a lot of knowledge about what's working and what isn't, and at the 12 months time, you well, we've already done our reassessment, but he's making savvy decisions on what he can bring in new to the business. So new services on top of those that we have already altered. So Heather, let me know if any of that was of use to you. I will have a look and if anybody has any questions, please let me know. I will do another one. I'll just put myself back on so you can see that I'm still here. I do tend to talk quickly. So I've been asked, do you use knighting, mirroring, or reflection? If you use the techniques that I'm showing you today, you don't need any others because you've read every single card within that GT. You can use knighting, etc., but they're actually cartomantic techniques. They are not traditionally Lenormand techniques, but you can use them, absolutely. But I would suggest that's if you feel you haven't gathered all that information from the spread already. They are techniques that are kind of add-ons if you are unsure of the message that was there. But if you follow the way that I did it and start actually reading as you lay, then you have interpreted all the cards and given a decent way forward. I do use the line of fate, absolutely. I use it particularly if the subject cards on what I'm reading, for example, business, it would be moon, anchor, ship, your finances, for example. If any of those landed in the line of fate, I would take particular notice because it means to me personally that if it lands in the line of fate, the querent has no control over that. And in a business reading, I would ask, why does the querent have no control of that? I will give you an example. I was selling my house in Germany over a year ago, and every single GT I laid, the house card for the house sale landed in the line of fate, and every single time I thought, oh fuck. And that was because I knew then that within the time scale I had set, I knew I wouldn't be moving. I knew the house wouldn't sell because it was out of my control. It was further in the future. It was fated to be a certain way, and that's your line of fate at the bottom. So you incorporate it into your read, but you only pay particular, or I personally only pay particular notice of it when something significant lands in there that shows me that the querent is not in control of that situation. Like, for example, in this one, if ship was in the bottom line, I would easily say, well, sales aren't going to be what you want them to be because it's out of your control. You can't drive sales if it's sat in your line of fate. Similarly, if moon was in the bottom, I would suggest that the business is not going to get recognition within the time that they are wanting it to because it's out of their control. But of the question is about the faith line, are you asking if the querent is in the fate line, is he, she out of control? Absolutely. That is, for me, hi Susanna, it is for me a really poor position for the querent cards. So if a querent card landed in that bottom line of fate, it is like they are, they're coasting along. They see everything happening around them, but they are not driving their own future. So they are really, in the line of, not the line of fate, but they're in the line of fire almost, because they have no control of that situation. On top, the line at top, I don't understand that. I'm really sorry, Acacia. If you can explain to me what you mean, I'll happily answer it. Somebody asked about timing. I will absolutely go through that. I will lay another GT. Oh, it was Connie. I will absolutely go through timing on this next GT. I will make it easy, and I will do 8 months, so you can see exactly how I break it down. That's okay, Acacia. I actually do videos in German sometimes, and I know how difficult it is. Okay, so I will see what else we had. I will do a love reading because we did business. I'll do love reading, and then we'll see what else we have in the questions. I see a question from Andrea Borbas. Can I have a love reading? Andrea, I will do that now. I'll switch myself over, and what I'll do is I will explain exactly how I work for my timings and how I use these significators of man and woman as the starting points and finishing points. Do you make use of house positions of the card? Absolutely. As you see, when I laid, that's exactly what I did. I laid each card and I said, man in House of Rider, bear in House of Ship. And then I, sorry, Clover. And I use all that information as I go along. Nobody wants to see my German videos, Gerda. I did a German conference not long ago, actually, and that was fun. Hello from Hamburg. I can't see your name, but hello. Guten Tag, guten Abend. I am doing Andrea now. See how quickly my mind just goes. I'm so easily distracted. Focus, Tony. Okay, I'll try and lay it straight this time. Andrea, can you tell me if you have a partner already, please, in the comments? And I will give it a good shuffle so that we know that we are fresh. A love reading for Andrea for 12 months, please. I was asked how long I spend on a GT reading for clients. A client reading when written is about an hour and a half. A client read when spoken is about 45 minutes on one GT. Love reading for Andrea. So in House of Rider, we have House. Clover, we have Bouquet. Ship, we have Coffin. Number 4, House, we have Whip. 5, Tree, we have Clover. 6, the heart card, which we want to see in any love read, sits in House of Clouds. 7 is Birds, and 8 is Ring. So sat in House of Coffin is Ring. I'm doing wonky again, I'm sorry. I would look at these straight away. 2 very solid cards here together. The longevity of Tower and the house cards sitting really close to one another, rocked by Tree. So longevity is rocked by Tree, sat in House 10, 11, 12, 13, Child, we have Clouds, which is close to Heart in Clouds. 14, 15, 16. I'm totally wonky. I am incapable of doing a straight GT. So 16, 17, we have Stork sitting in its own house. So we already know that on the love front, there are great changes coming. 18, 19, Tower, we have Fox, and Tower is here in Bouquet. 20, Woman. Andrea, I'm really sorry, can you also tell me if you are woman or man? In England, it is woman, but in Germany, it's often man. So if you can just write if you're male or female, please. Sorry. So 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's sat in garden. 21, 22. Garden sat very close to his own house. 23. 24. So in the house of heart, we have star falling, which is a direction for love, at least. 25, 26, 27. In house of man, we have snake. 28, 29. Sorry, in woman, we have cross. 30, 31. Close to there, 32. And man, there you go. Everybody wanted it. Man is sat in the line of fate. Thank you, Andrea. Sorry, I had to ask because it's often in Germany. It's like my name. It's often a male name in Germany. Okay. So we have the partner card sat in the line of fate. And that's something I would note straight away, saying that within the coming 12 months, a situation as far as a partner is very much out of her control. It is a fated position for the partner card. Now, unlike other situations, a fated partner card doesn't necessarily mean, sorry, you can't even see that, can you? Doesn't necessarily mean that there is no partner around or coming into the picture. But and the reason for that is because there are fated situations in which a partner enters our life. I mean, look at me and Jane. Our situation was hugely fated. Nobody expected that. So there are times at which a partner card will show up in the line of fate, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything is amiss. However, we have snake above head of man, and we have dog next to man in the line of fate. And this can signify especially with dog is a very platonic card. So it's not a card that oozes sexuality or passion or anything like that. It's a card that is very platonic in its nature. Anchor sat behind his back too. And if we look at the cards that actually came up with heart in clouds, ringing coffin, I would suggest that there is a relationship that Our Lady hasn't let go of yet. That there's a relationship that is still very perhaps raw with Cross in her problem zone, which is right beneath her bum. And it's one, especially with Fox ahead, it's almost like it's a situation in which she is blocking herself from finding someone new because she's putting a face on the situation that she's all right when she's blocking herself from actually loving, because heart is all the way up there in clouds. And with the grief underneath and man sat in line of fate and dog next to him, it shows to me a situation in which woman hasn't yet moved on. And she's not willing to move on at the moment because there's the coffin satin ship directly beneath coffin, weighing down the spread. She has weapon mounting above her head, weighing down too. So it's very difficult. Feelings are probably very raw. And especially with snake beneath, it's that churning up of emotions beneath her, churning it up, and really not feeling ready to, maybe on the face of matters, believes or thinks or presumes that she has moved on. But there's some little emotional triggers with snake beneath, mountain pressing down, that haven't been worked through yet. Somebody asked on my timings. I read in the direction of my significators. So if I am reading for a man, I will read from left to right. If I am reading for a woman, I will read from right to left, so I can see exactly what's going on. The cards behind her back are difficulties. The cards ahead of her are what will come easy within the situation. And then when I work through timings, I work in the direction of your querent. So as she's facing in this way, I would start month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if it's a 12 month, then I break down the first 4 columns into 6 months, and the second 4 columns into 6 months. So you have a step-by-step guide on what's going to happen. I read using the line that she is in as the main storyline. So this line that she sits in will tell you what is going to happen on a daily basis. The cards then above influencing down add more information to that storyline. The cards that sit beneath then substantiate that storyline with undercurrents, like I said here, feelings, emotions, and that grief in there. So the line beneath the significator would then add up that deep, nitty-gritty information from there. If I was reading for a man, I would start at this side, and I would read month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or again, 6 months would be at this side, and then another 6 months at the right-hand side. When you make that breakdown in months, do you still consider the auspicious and inauspicious around the significator? Absolutely. So what's the general time frame of a GT? Will it be valid for how long? It depends how long the querent wants to actually read for. It's usually a 12-month period, so I will read for 12 months. I've heard dog can also mean third party in a relationship. I wouldn't substantiate dog speaks of good company. So I wouldn't use dog as a negative card or showing a third party in a relationship. If I'm wanting to see a third party in a relationship, I would be looking for substantiation of more than one card. So I would need fox, snake, and I would need lily. Oh, where's lily? I would need lily is the best card to show anything that is untoward. Because if lily lands beneath a significator, it shows that they are being very selfish and looking after number one. And it can show that they are not being virtuous in their actions. So there would have to be at least 4 cards to substantiate a third party and not just the one. In this scenario, when it comes to love, we can see as we start in our direct line of sight here, because that's where she sits. She sits in this line, and this is the start of her storyline. And let's cut it down into 8 months so you can make it easy. In the first month, you look at your focus card, which is your direct line of sight, and you say she's really looking for a direction in love because it's sat in the house of heart. She's really looking for that direction, but she really doesn't have a great deal of good things to say about relationships she's been in the past. 25 sat in coffin. And but with fish under it, it's that fish is abundance. So if you think of an abundance in a love scenario and sat under the direction, you can see she has these welling emotions for love and finding that direction, and is in the second month actually putting energy into communicating about relationships and love. So she's putting that effort in the second month to actually communicate about her feelings and what's important to her, with moon substantiating it below. What's important to her in a love scenario. And then in the third month, we actually have garden as our focus card. And garden shows that sociable aspect of love. And we have heart in the mix and crossroads. So in the third month, she will be making decisions on the people who are around her, because garden shows your people around you. Bear shows people around you being jealous. So she will be making decisions on, what kind of person that she wants, looking at her close circle and seeing, who's good for her and who isn't. With Lily under Bear, that shows a double whammy of somebody within her close circle actually not turning out to be everything that they are projecting themselves to be. They're not as happy for her as she thought they were. And then we have information coming to light, a book, and clouds pressing down on it on Clover, and then with that grief below. It's almost like there is somebody in her circle of friends who is of interest, but somebody who's very much a platonic friend within the coming, that's 4 months, we'll say. Sorry. Within the 4 months, there's somebody coming to light within her close circle of friends, and it's just not worth the bother for her, with cross in the mix and clouds throwing in that trouble in there. And it really presses down on her, this this is almost like a mental, with whip and mountain over woman, it's almost like a mental anguish, and this feeling that something's just not right. It could simply be that she misses having a partner in her life, and within 5 months it's just one of those periods where she's thinking, I'd really like somebody. The person I had before didn't work out, and I know I have to let him go or her go, but really struggling with it in the time frame. And then we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and it's almost with Fox in front of her and ship and coffin. It's almost like saying, excuse my language, oh fuck it, I'm gonna find someone new. You know what? I've put enough energy into this situation. Fuck it, I'm going to absolutely do me, and I'm going to cut out, the issues that I've had, and I'm going to move forward with our Rider and Stork. That's 2 very moving cards in the time frame ahead. So if you're looking at this as a love read, which we are, Heart is far away, ring is far away. They're both in an inauspicious position. It's not going to be the easiest time as far as love is concerned. There is the possibility of seeking newness within that, but actually falling deeply, madly in love, I wouldn't say is going to happen within that period. And then when you get to here and the change, we have Tower and House, and they're actually really solid cards in any read to show a real change, double change of direction, and are heading into a way more stable viewpoint when it comes to love. I'm sorry, Andrea, that I don't have better news than that. Do you read with auspicious and inauspicious placements? Because if you do the first ones, I read with inauspicious, auspicious placements as a general overview to begin with. When I'm doing the timings, I don't take them as their inauspicious versus auspicious meanings. So you don't subscribe to the practice that cards to the right of the crown referring to the past. If you ask for a future 12 months, you are not going to get past cards. Let me put me on. If you ask for a general overview of someone's life and give no time in, then of course you can see the past and the future in one spread. But if a client comes to me and says, what's going to happen in 2022? They don't want to know what happened in 2021. They don't want to know what happened in 1975. They want to know what happens in 2022. So if you are setting a future question, then that question is answered. If you don't ask a future question, then you will get everything in. Let me see if there are any more questions. I've answered that. What about the chain of houses technique? Is that useful? Again, that's a cartomantic technique. If you feel that you haven't got all your information out of a spread, then go for it. But really, a spread can be read without any cartomantic techniques. The additions I would suggest if you haven't got the full story. Hi, Presidi. Can a GT be late for less than 12 or 6 months? You can really read it for a day. You can read it for a week. Weekly readings with a GT are super, super great exercises to do because you can dial back the meanings then to a daily meaning. So you are really dialing back those meanings, and it's a great exercise to do, just to do a week ahead with a GT. Let me see if there's any other questions. I am going to do the same video, or not exactly the same, but live on reading the box spread. And I'm also going to do a Kipper GT live within the next couple of weeks too. So if I didn't see your question on Lenormand and Lenormand techniques, please post them in the World Lenormand Association. I will be happy to answer them. I am looking through comments, but it does happen often that oh, here we go. Farah says, what are your favorite techniques to read in a GT, and do you use the traditional MOD? Actually, the traditional MOD is actually the meanings that I was using there. I use the clusters. Like I said before, I wouldn't use a significator. I would use clusters of significators to give me a direction for a read. For example, if I did a general read and we had a cluster of again, moon, ship, anchor and fish in the mix, we know that we're looking at a work direction. If we, on the other hand, we had ring and heart, even, you know, a child with good company in the mix, Lily in an auspicious position, then we are looking more down relationship lines. If you want to see, for example, a third party, I told you that one. If you want to see trouble on the horizon, then you notice things like clouds in the mix, but you need at least 3 or 4 clusters of cards with the method of distance in order to really shoot you down an interpretation route. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the next one, which will be the box spread, I believe. If you have not signed up for our brand free conference at the weekend, please sign up today. It is on the World Divination Association homepage, and I will be teaching techniques. Sorry, I'm really thirsty. Techniques on the Lenormand GT for 12 months, and how to how to break it down into different life areas. It's a good job I'm going, because I'm losing my voice. Thank you, Serge. Lovely to see you. Thank you, Gerda. See you later.